I'll ask you some questions that I, have already know, but for the people, some of the early records. You recall, Jimmy, we'll play it on the second show, The Long Hot Summer. Orson Welles, Joanne Woodward were in that movie. Do you remember who the male lead in that movie was? That's right. Yeah. Paul Newman.
The first picture, I think, that Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward did together.
Is that right?
Yeah. I don't know if it was their first movie together, but I know it was certainly.
Yeah, because they showed on television from time to time. It's a beautiful.
Quite a nice film. I think they expected that film to do more than it did. It did well, but not what else they expected. I know The Long Hot Summer was nominated for an Academy Award presentation.
Always reminded me of like a Tennessee Williams kind of a story, that's set in the South, but it wasn't. It was I can't remember who wrote it. But
I don't remember who wrote it either. I know that I think it was the music to it was Lionel Newman's illustrations. I remember we did The Long Hot Summer in one take.
Is that right?
Huh.
Yeah.
Walked in, and after they'd rehearsed the orchestra and did it in one take.
Huh.
I'll never forget that. And then we tried to do it again and duplicate it. We couldn't, so we kept the original.
Oh, I see.
Those days we did like 3 takes. So that's good. Walk away.
That was your first tune featured in a movie then, right? As far as? Yeah. Then you did one teenagers liked, but yet it was, it was more folk, and it was a departure from the hard rock that was breaking through at that time.
Yeah, it was really an accident because I wasn't trying to do anything in particular. I was just singing, and I really wasn't trying to compete with anybody. Just playing the guitar and singing. And of course, we recorded with the groups were small. And the rhythm section sound was very small. I think we were recording on 4-track in those days, maybe 4, sometimes 2.
I remember seeing you on television around 57 when Honeycomb was breaking. You had a unique style of playing the guitar at that time, where you would, I think you had your
Put my thumb across. I still do.
Yeah, and
was that the Ed Sullivan Show?
Possibly. It might have been Ed or Perry Como.
I remember when I did the Ed Sullivan Show, we did it at Madison Square Garden, and it was a disaster. I think it was my first national shot on television.
Is that right?
And the orchestra was a long ways away from me, like 100 yards away. And in those days, they didn't have the facilities that you do now, or the technology that you do now, so there was a long delay. And I was playing open chord guitar, which was not an electric instrument, it was acoustical. And the band couldn't hear me, and I sang one song, and they played another for 2.5 minutes, coast to coast, and it was pretty bad. It was almost the end of my career.
Jim Pewter program number 2929 for Wednesday.
Hi and welcome, this is Jim Pewter, and like I promised you, he's here in person, Jimmie Rodgers. Welcome, this is Jim Pewter. Like I promised you, he's here in person. Jimmie Rodgers.
Oh, I'm falling in love again. Oh. Many's the time I've been two-timed, many's the time I've been stoned. Many a honey took all of my money, but that was when I was much younger. Made up my mind to be careful, made up my mind to beware. I was alright until Saturday night. I met a gal with the goldenest hair. Oh, I'm falling in love again. Oh. I thought I wouldn't get caught again. Never in 100, never in 1,000, never in a million years. Never in a million years. She had the bluest of blue eyes. She had the cherriest lips. Shouldn't have kissed her, I tried to resist her, but one kiss and I was a goner. I couldn't run if I wanted, I couldn't run if I tried. Saw what I liked and I liked what I saw, and my heart went along for the ride. Oh, oh, I'm falling in love again. Oh, 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 oh. I thought I wouldn't get caught again. Never in 100, never in 1,000, never in a million years.
Never in a million years.
That was the end of my roving. Now that it's over, I'm glad. Through gallivanting, I got a new slab, and I'm a ring-a-ding daddy, rocking a cradle at night time, living and loving each day. Got me a wife, she's the light of my life, and when I kiss her good morning, I say, oh, oh, well, I'm falling in love again. Oh, 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 oh. I thought I wouldn't get caught again. Never in 100, never in 1,000, never in a million years. Never in 100, never in 1,000, never in a million years.
Never in a million years.
Oh, 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 oh.
That's the sound we all grew up to, and so glad to have him here in person. Jimmie Rodgers.
How you doing, Jim?
I'm fine. Oh, I'm falling in love again. And, you know, we're going to go back in your career and play so many of your hit records. And I was just listening to them last night, and I said, it's incredible, Jimmie, that, you know, from like 57 to like 59, 60, you had every record you put out was a hit. And
It was an accident.
was it? Yeah.
It really was.
Let's talk about your first major hit that we all remember, Honeycomb. And I remember you were in the Air Force, right, in Korea, around 57?
Well, I was in Korea in 1954, I guess it was, 53 and 54.
Yeah.
And I came back from Korea and was shipped to Nashville, Tennessee at Smyrna Air Force Base, which is right outside of Nashville, at Seward Air Force Base, rather, in Smyrna. And while I was there, I got a job down in Nashville playing piano. I started as a piano player. And I played piano in a little bar in Printer's Alley there in 1955 and 1956. And I was very successful at it. It was just a little tiny bar right in the end of Printer's Alley called the Club Unique. And all of the country people used to come in there, a little set-up bar. You know, in those days you couldn't buy a drink across the bar. You had to bring your bottle in, put your name on it, and they'd sell you setups.
Right.
And I sat behind this little piano, played piano and played guitar, sang 8 hours a night. Start at 6:30, 7 o'clock, and get off sometimes at 3 o'clock in the morning. And that's really where I started.
Mm-hmm.
People kept coming in to hear me down there, and that was kind of it.
Then you made a trip to New York when you were back. You were living on the West Coast, wasn't it, when you went to New York to do Honeycomb?
Yes, I had been singing Honeycomb for many years. I started singing it in Nashville, and then I did end up in New York City when we recorded it, yes.
Uh-huh. You auditioned for Roulette Records?
Roulette Records, that's right.
And I remember they had Buddy Knox and Jimmy Bowen at the time with Party Doll with Buddy, right?
Yeah, and Jimmy Bowen had a record called Bebop, I Love You,
Yeah,
Baby.
yeah, I'm Sticking With You.
I'm Sticking With You.
So you auditioned, and was it an immediate release after you...
Actually, yes, I auditioned with Honeycomb and a few other songs, and they liked the Honeycomb song. I didn't have a recording contract with them. I recorded Honeycomb at 3 o'clock in the morning with a small group and left.
Yeah.
Took off, went back to Washington State, and didn't hear from them until the record came out. I didn't even have a contract when the record came out.
Well, it came out. It was 1957.
Honeycomb, honeycomb.
Well, it's a darn good life, and it's kind of funny how the Lord made the bee, and the bee made the honey, and the honeybee looking for a home. And they called it a honeycomb, and they roamed the world, and they gathered all of the honeycomb in the one sweet fall, and the honeycomb from a million trips made my baby's lips. So honeycomb, won't you be my baby? Well, the honeycomb be my own. Got a hank of hair and a piece of bone, and made a walking, talking honeycomb. Well, honeycomb, won't you be my baby? Well, the honeycomb be my own. What a darn good life when you got a wife like a honeycomb.
Honeycomb.
And the Lord said, now that I made a bee, I'm gonna look all around for a green, green tree. And he made a little tree, and I guess you heard. What then? Well, he made a little bird, and they waited all around until the end of spring, getting every note that the birdies sing, and they put them all in the one sweet tone. For my honeycomb, oh honeycomb, won't you be my baby? Well, the honeycomb be my own. Got a hank of hair and a piece of bone, and made a walking, talking Honeycomb, well, honeycomb, won't you be my baby? Well, honeycomb, be my phone. What a darn good life when you got a wife like honeycomb.
Honeycomb.
And the Lord said, now that I made a bird, I'm gonna look all around for a little old word that sounds about sweet like a turtle dove. And I guess I'm gonna call it love. And he roamed the world looking everywhere, getting love from here, love from there. And he put it all in a little old part of my baby's heart. Oh, honeycomb, won't you be my baby? Well, the honeycomb be my own. Got a hank of hair and a piece of bone that made a walking, talking honeycomb. Well, honeycomb, won't you be my baby? Well, the honeycomb be my own. What a darn good life when you got a wife like honeycomb.
Honeycomb.
That was the one that started Jimmie Rodgers. All throughout the world, people knew who you were after that song. I remember you, when you played guitar, you used to kind of fret with your thumb, right?
I still do.
Do you? Yeah.
Tune it to an open chord and use my thumb. I could never get my fingers across all 6 strings. I have short, kind of fat fingers, so I'd use my thumb and bridge like an old steel guitar. Bridge up and down.
When did you first hear the tune on the radio?
On the radio, I heard it. I had recorded it in New York and left, and nobody could find me. I went out to Washington State where I lived. As I said, I didn't have a contract. They didn't know where I was. I was washing my car.
Is that right?
And somebody in Portland played it, and I was listening to the radio.
Jimmie Rodgers is my guest. This is Jim Pewter. We'll continue with more great hits from Jimmie. Kisses sweeter than wine. Hang on.
Hi. You know, there's an old saying that goes, what you don't know can't hurt you. Don't you believe it? Half of those who have high blood pressure don't know it. Believe me, they're being hurt far more than those who know it and are receiving treatment for it. I'm Dick Van Dyke, asking you not to take any chances. Have your blood pressure checked today. The American Heart Association is fighting to save your life. Won't you help?
Well, when I was a young man and never been kissed, I got to thinking it over, how much I had missed. So I got me a girl and I kissed her, and then, oh Lordy, well, I kissed her again because she had kisses sweeter than wine. She had kisses sweeter than wine.
Sweeter than wine.
Well, I asked her to marry and be my sweet wife. I told her we'd be so happy for the rest of her life. I begged her and I pleaded like a natural man. And in the whoops, so Lordy, well, she gave me her hand because she had kisses sweeter than wine. She had kisses sweeter than wine.
Sweeter than wine.
Well, we worked very hard, both me and my wife, working hand in hand to have a good life. We had corn in the field and wheat in the bin, and in the whoops, oh Lord, I was the father of twins because she had kisses sweeter than wine. She had kisses sweeter than wine.
Sweeter than wine.
Well, our children ain't numbered, just about 4, and they all had a sweetheart knocking at the door. They all got married and they wouldn't hesitate. I was a whoops, oh Lord, the grandfather of 8 because she had kisses sweeter than wine. She had kisses sweeter than wine.
Sweeter than wine.
Well, now that I'm old and I'm ready to go, I get to thinking what happened a long time ago. Had a lot of kids, a lot of trouble and pain, but then whoops, oh Lordy, well, I do it all again because she had kisses sweeter than wine. She had kisses sweeter than wine.
What a great song. I was just telling Jimmie Rodgers, our special guest, within 2 minutes and 20 seconds, you span that whole man's life, right?
Right.
With that lady.
Actually, you know, the Weavers with Pete Seeger had recorded this prior to that. When I first heard the song, all I did was take it and just kind of jazz it up just a little bit.
Yeah.
Kept it fairly simple.
That's the key to your success in the songs, why they hold up so well. They weren't cluttered. The arrangements, very pure and simple.
No, as a matter of fact, you get away from that sound as you progress through the years. I know I have, working with large orchestras and so on. You find pretty soon everything starts to go and it builds bigger and bigger for live performances. But I'm taking those songs back on stage to that original sound again now, and I'm enjoying it a lot more.
How did the fame affect you at the time, like when Honeycomb and Kisses Sweeter Than Wine became major hits? You were doing The Ed Sullivan Show, Perry Como. At one point in your career, you had your own variety show on the network. Isn't that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How did that change you, Jimmie Rodgers?
Well, I was so busy. I think it makes a change in you. Of course, financially it makes a change. You start to make money, which I'd never done before, really. And it changes you a little bit, but it really changes the people around you more than it changes you. I found that going back to my hometown was more difficult because people who I'd gone to school with were calling me sir,
Oh, really?
Friends
Yeah.
of mine who I'd known, fished with, and hunted with all my life were yes sir, no sir. And it took me a long time to get through to them that this was not only what I wanted to do, but it was also a job, and it had nothing to do with me personally.
Let's bring on one of my all-time favorites. It came out during 1958. Secretly, and I know you still sing this today, and this is a song that I don't recall anyone ever covering this tune down through the years, having a hit equal to you. This is the original, of course, but it's a great song, and somehow I would think someone would, put that out again.
I think maybe a lot of times people just forget about the song, or they think, well, it was a big hit at one time, let's just leave it alone.
Yeah. This was very popular at the record hops I used to attend, yeah. Slow dancing. Jimmie Rodgers. Let's listen one more time.
Why must I meet you in a secret rendezvous? Why must we steal away to steal a kiss or two? Why must we wait to do the things we want to do? Why, oh why, oh why, oh why, oh why? Wish we didn't have to meet secretly. Wish we didn't have to kiss secretly. Wish we didn't have to be afraid to show the world that we're in love till we have the right to meet openly, till we have the right to kiss openly. We'll just have to be content to be in love secretly. Why, oh why, oh why, oh why, oh why? Wish we didn't have to meet secretly. Wish we didn't have to kiss secretly. Wish we didn't have to be afraid to show the world that we're in love till we have the right to meet openly, till we have the right to kiss openly. We'll just have to be content to be in love secretly.
Oh, I can remember hearing that on my car radio and then going to the drive-in, and the girl I was dating at the time said, I want to hear that one again. Who was singing that? I said, that's Jimmie Rodgers, the guy that did Honeycomb. Oh, yeah, I love that song. Secretly. That was kind of a departure for you, wasn't it?
Actually, it was. I got away from the guitar. They wanted me to do something a little bit different than the the folk up-tempo folk sound. Secretly was a monster record for us sales-wise. It didn't stay on the charts as long as Kisses Sweeter Than Wine or Honeycomb, but it was a big record sales-wise. I think everybody was meeting secretly in those days, and
That's
still
right.
are, maybe.
Yeah. Let's turn the record around. It was a double-sided hit. This was Make Me a Miracle. Jimmie Rodgers is my guest. This is Jim Pewter. Are we all set? All right.
Make me a miracle. Make me a miracle. Make me a miracle, my love. I'm only a drop. Make me a fountain. I'm only a hill. Make me a mountain. You can make a slave or a king of me. Make me 90 feet tall. You can make a fabulous thing of me, or nothing at all. I'm only a spark. Make me a fire. I'm only a voice. Make me a choir. You can make a tower of strength of me just by touching my hand. You can make whatever you want of me. I'm at your command.
Make me a miracle. Make me a miracle.
I'm only a cup. Make me a chalice. I'm only a hut. Make me a palace. I can be as wild as a bumblebee and fly with the eagles above. I don't care whatever you make of me. Just make me your love. Just make me your love. Make me a miracle. Make me a miracle. Make me a miracle.
That's Jimmie Rodgers. Make Me a Miracle. America has been called a vast melting pot, a place where English, Italians, Germans, Poles, Chinese, Africans, Hispanics, and others have all come together to form one country. It's not a place where the differences between us disappear, but where the similarities tie us together. There is a diversity in America that is truly great. In our differences lie our strengths. It brings new ideas, new words, new music, new fashions. It brings change, a freshness and acceptance to new ways of doing things that allow us to abandon the old and take up the new at a furious pace. It allows us to accept new people as one of us because they have asked to join us. It allows us to reject old ideas because they no longer suit the world. It allows an opportunity for everyone to rise on their own merit. It fosters a sense of pride, self-esteem, and dignity that is respected by each and every one of us. And perhaps most importantly, it helps create a military in which everyone can live and work together, based on a common bond of similarities and a healthy respect for individual differences. And this is Jim Pewter with our special guest, Jimmie Rodgers. And through the years, we've grown to love Jimmie's music, and it's great to know that he's still with us, performing and spreading his joy throughout a world that needs it every day. I know just having you here and reflecting back on these times, really touches the heart because your songs were really special. Are You Really Mine? Another big hit you had, 1958. You were rolling right along, weren't you, Jimmie? Yeah.
We were rolling along with music. Secretly, it was written by Al Hoffman and Manning, two gentlemen in New York City at the time, and that we followed it up with Are You Really, Really Mine, which had the same kind of a feel as Secretly. This record was popular, not quite as popular as Secretly, but did quite well.
Really, 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 are you really mine? Really, 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 are you really mine?
You tell me that you love me, and you tell me that you want me, and you even wear my graduation ring. It's too wonderful, it's too beautiful, it's a fantastic thing. Are you really, really mine? Really mine, really mine? Will my lucky little star really shine, really shine. Kiss me with feeling, make my heart go reeling, make me know that you are really, really, really mine.
Are you really mine? Really, 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 are you really mine?
You call me every morning and you see me every evening and you swear that I'm the only one for you. Here's the funny part, though you cross your heart, I can't believe it's true. Are you really, really mine?
Really mine?
Really mine? Really mine? Will my lucky little star really shine? Really shine? Kiss me with feeling, make my heart go reeling, make me know that you are really, really, really mine.
Are you really mine?
Really mine.
Are You Really Mine? Jimmie Rodgers. Jimmie's our special guest. You were mentioning while that record was on that your goal wasn't to be a popular singer at that time, was it?
No, not at all. I had studied in college to be a mechanical engineer. My work as a singer was just to make money, frankly. I was doing it, playing and singing wherever I could to make a living. Not that I don't love music, I do. But I found that I could make a better living singing than I could doing anything else. But I never really thought too much about it. When we recorded those songs, I was just really having a good time. Broke, didn't have any money. It didn't make any difference. We were singing and having a good time.
Yeah. Who inspired you, though, as a young boy growing up in Washington, as far as artists and performers?
Frankie Lane. I remember when I was in high school, Frankie had, I don't know how many different hits in a row. He had several. I can't think of them all right now. But he was a great inspiration for me. I used to listen to all of his music. And so I started singing some of his songs. And my mom, of course, is a piano teacher and just stopped teaching a few years ago. And my brother and my family all kind of like music, but I was the only one to ever go out and do anything on their own.
Mm-hmm. Did you have an opportunity to meet and get to know Elvis Presley during the time, like when you were having all these hits? Of course, he was at his peak also with, breaking on the scene with one hit after another. Did you ever share a personal time with him?
Yes, I was at the Moulin Rouge here in Los Angeles, which in those days was one of the big nightclubs here. And Elvis came to see my show, and I got to know him a little bit. And I saw him once out at 20th Century Fox. We talked briefly at that time. Then later on in his career, he recorded the song that I wrote called It's Over. I didn't know him well, but I knew him. And he was a gentleman, really, around me, very quiet. And I always got the feeling that underneath all of that popularity was a real fine man.
Mm-hmm. Let me mention another name that is special to us, Buddy Holly. What comes to mind when I mention Buddy Holly?
Well, Buddy and I worked together at the Brooklyn Paramount Theater in New York. We used to do 5 shows a day there, and in those days they would show a movie in the afternoon, then we'd do a show, and then they'd show another movie, we'd do a show. We'd stay there all day. We couldn't get out. The place was surrounded by kids. We couldn't get out. We used to bring our brown bag, our lunches in, and stay there all day. I knew Buddy pretty well. Nice man, too. We miss Buddy.
Sure.
Of course, his music lives on.
Yeah. Yeah, was that the Alan Freed shows?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the Alan Freed rock shows, Buddy Holly and I, and I can't remember everybody. The Diamonds. And, I was with David Somerville with the Diamonds here just not too long ago. Talked to David.
Yeah, how's he doing?
He's doing very well. He's
Good.
Writing music, singing, still sings great.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
We have another one of your hits, and we like to remind the people that you'll be here tomorrow, and we'll be continuing on with I'm Never Gonna Tell, The Wizard, The Long Hot Summer from the movie, The World I Used to Know, It's Over, the song you mentioned that you wrote and had a hit with, and Elvis later released it, Child of Clay we're going to be playing, so it's Jimmie Rodgers going to be with us tomorrow as well. Bim Bombay, are you ready to go there?
Sure.
All right.
Bim Bombay, Bim Bombay. on the hill on the way to Bim Bombay. A house on the hill and a girl in the house on the hill on the way to Bim Bombay. Jingling-a-lie-oh,
Jingling-a-lie-oh,
jingling-a-lie,
jingling-a-lie,
jingling-a-lie, jingling-a-lie, jingling-a-lie, jingling-a-lie.
jingling-a-lie.
There's a store in Bim Bombay. There's a ring in the store in Bim Bombay. That's where I'll buy the ring for the girl in the house on the hill on the way to Bim Bombay. I'll buy the ring for the girl in the house on the hill on the way to Bim Bombay. Jingling-a-lie-oh,
Jingling-a-lie-oh,
jingling-a-lie,
jingling-a-lie,
jingling-a-lie, jingling-a-lie, jingling-a-lie, jingling-a-lie.
jingling-a-lie.
Once I get to Bim Bombay, you can bet I will stay in Bim Bombay. That's where I'll settle down with the girl in the house on the hill on the way to Bim Bombay. I'll settle down with the girl in the house on the hill on the way to Bim Bombay. Jingling-a-lie-oh,
Jingling-a-lie-oh,
jingling-a-lie,
jingling-a-lie,
jingling-a-lie, jingling-a-lie, jingling-a-lie, jingling-a-lie,
jingling-a-lie.
Bim Bombay, Bim Bombay.
Well, we got to move on out. Jimmy will be here tomorrow, and we'll be starting with I'm Never Going to Tell. It's, we're telling them, though, right? Okay, Jimmy?
All right, thanks.
Jim Pewter along with Jimmie Rodgers. Until tomorrow, keep it straight ahead. Bye-bye.
Jim Pewter program 2930 for Thursday.
Hi and welcome. This is Jim Pewter. And you know who was here yesterday if you missed out? Jimmie Rodgers. And we featured songs like Honeycomb, Oh, I'm Falling in Love Again, Kisses Sweeter Than Wine, Secretly. Well, he's back, and we're going to continue with more of his great hits. The year, 1959. Here's Jimmie Rodgers.
Mama didn't know, nobody will ever know.
Because I'm never gonna tell, I'm never gonna tell, I'm never gonna tell on you. If you don't tell on me, little girl, I'm never gonna tell on you. Oh, never gonna tell on you.
I'm never gonna tell, I'm never gonna tell, I'm never gonna tell on you. If you don't tell on me, little girl, I'm never gonna tell on you.
Oh, never gonna tell on you.
Never gonna tell on you.
Somebody sneaked out late last night when the stars were shining and the moon was bright. Somebody kissed you tenderly, but I ain't saying who the guy might be.
Papa didn't know, your mama didn't know, and nobody will ever know.
Because I'm never gonna tell, I'm never gonna tell, I'm never gonna tell on you. There's so much bliss in a stolen kiss until you're old enough to say I do. Never gonna tell on you.
Never gonna tell on you. Never gonna tell on you.
Somebody better treat me nice and listen to a bit of good advice. Meet me tonight, my buttercup. You might be sorry if you don't show up.
Papa didn't know, your mama didn't know, and nobody will ever know.
Because I'm never gonna tell, I'm never gonna tell, I'm never gonna tell on you. If you don't tell on me, little girl, I'm never gonna tell on you. Oh, never gonna tell on you.
I'm never gonna tell, I'm never gonna tell, I'm never gonna tell on
just say I do. Never gonna tell on you.
Never gonna tell on you. Never gonna tell on you. Never gonna tell on
Well, we'll
you.
tell him. Jimmie's here. Jimmie Rodgers, right? You mentioned you never sang that song.
No, I never
person,
really
yeah.
liked that song.
Is that right?
I don't know. I thought it was just kind of a trite little song and just
Yeah.
kind of rolled along. You know, it was fun though.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah.
I never sang it. I don't think live.
Coming up, we'll have The World I Used to Know, It's Over, and Child of Clay. And right now, we're going to go back to one of your early albums. You had only about 3 years with Roulette Records, right?
Right. I stayed with them for 3 years, and then I left them. I didn't want to stay in New York anymore. I wanted to come back to the West Coast, and so not that I didn't like New York City. I just liked the West Coast better. So we left on friendly terms, but I left them. I came to Los Angeles and had to wait 2 years before I could record again because I was under a 5-year contract to Roulette. So I waited a couple of years, and I worked at Dot Records as a producer for a while, and then I started recording for Dot somewhere around 70 or something like that.
We'll get to some of those releases. First, we'll back up a few years, and we're back to the late 50s one more time. The Wizard. What comes to mind when you hear that song?
The Wizard was, I don't remember who wrote the song. I remember somebody played it for me in New York, and I just liked the feeling of it. I like the snap your fingers kind of idea, but I thought it had a great snappy feel.
One day I met a wizard many years ago. He was very, very old. He was very, very wise. He told me a secret many years ago. How to live, how to love, how to win the golden prize.
Tell us what the wizard said. Tell us what the wizard said.
All you have to do is snap your fingers, make a wish and snap your fingers. That's what you have to do. And your wishes will all come true. One day I met a maiden with honey-colored hair. There never was a maiden so beautiful, so fair. The first time that I kissed her, I promised her my life, and I wondered how to win her for my wife.
Remember what the wizard said. Remember what the wizard said.
All you have to do is snap your fingers, make a wish and snap your fingers. That's what you have to do, and your wishes will all come true. The day that we were married, I remember it so well. I remember how I kissed her as the orange blossoms fell. I remember how I whispered as I held her tenderly. Now that we are married, we must raise a family.
Remember what the wizard said. Remember what the wizard said.
All you have to do is snap your fingers, make a wish and snap your fingers. That's what you have to do, and your wishes will all come true. Today we're all together, a family of four. The girl and boy I wish for are playing on the floor. And one day when they're older, I'll hold them on my knee, and I'll tell them the secret that the wizard told me.
Tell them what the wizard said. Tell them what the wizard said.
All you have to do is snap your fingers, make a wish and snap your fingers. That's what you have to do, and your wishes will all come true.
Yeah, that's it. The Wizard, Jimmie Rodgers, and this is Jim Pewter. Jimmie's our special guest. There was a movie that came out called Long Hot Summer, which I see on television from time to time, and you sang the title tune in that movie, and we're going to be getting to that in just a few seconds. Let's run down some of the stars in that movie. There was, go ahead.
Orson Welles, Paul Newman, and Joan Woodward.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Francioso was in that movie. Burl Ives.
That's right.
Can't remember the rest. There were quite a few people.
It was a
in it.
good film, but I remember the opening credits and your song came on, and it was released as a single. And
Yes.
that was your first tune in a movie, wasn't it?
It was my first movie song. Yes, Lionel Newman, I think, did the music on that. A beautiful song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We'll get to it right after this.
You ever hear of Einstein's theory of relativity, like things being big or small only in relation to something else? You know, it's the same thing with speed. Sure, there's a greater impact when you hit something at 60 as compared with 30, but Even 20 or 30 miles an hour can be too fast for the roadway or the weather and can also lead to accidents, sometimes bad ones. Play it safe. Keep your speed relative to the conditions. This is a message from this station and the AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety.
The long, hot summer seems to know every time you're near, and the touch of a breeze gently stirs all the trees, and a bird wants to please my ear. The long, hot summer seems to know what a flirt you are, seems to know your caress isn't mine to possess. How could someone possess a star? But you may long for me, long before the fall, long before the winds announce that winter's come to call. And meanwhile I'll court you, and meanwhile I'll kiss you. Meanwhile my lonely arms will hold you strong. And meanwhile, the long, hot summer slowly moves along. Oh, so slowly moves along.
I remember seeing that movie one afternoon, and it was raining, and I remember the opening credits and then hearing your voice. I didn't even have to wait for your name because I knew it was you. Yeah.
It's a warm sound, and that's what they needed for the opening of that film, with that the heat of the film itself. Very good motion picture. That picture was nominated for an Academy Award.
And you sang it at the Academy that year, didn't you?
I did sing the
Yeah.
song at the Academy, yes.
Yeah. We're going to move up a few years in your career. You left Roulette Records, and you signed with Randy Wood's Dot label on the West Coast. And this next song, The World I Used to Know, Rod McEwen, writer, great song. I mean, it's been done down through the years by many artists. This is my favorite version, the one you do. And was that a happy association with Dot Records?
Yes, very much. Randy Wood, who was the president of Dot Records, and I were very close friends. And Tom Mack, God rest him, and all of the people there were just terrific to me. I had a small production company there, and I produced Debbie Reynolds, and I did some work with Pat Boone, and had the pleasure of sitting in on a lot of the Lawrence Welk sessions and so on. And I learned to produce records at Dot. It was a great experience for me.
Mm-hmm.
I only had one hit on Dot, and that was It's Over.
Yeah.
And the rest of them were just songs. And The World I Used to Know, and 210, 618, the McEwen things. Rod McEwen used to bring me so many songs. The World I Used to Know was originally titled The Song with No Name, I remember.
Mm-hmm.
And we changed the title in the session.
Yeah. Let's listen.
The world I used to know someday some old familiar rain will come along and know my name, and then my shelter will be gone, and I'll have to move along. But till I do, track the hidden country of your smile. Someday the man I used to be will come along and call on me. And then because I'm just a man, you'll find my feet are made of sand. But till that time, I'll tell you lies and chart the hidden boundaries of your eyes. Someday the world I used to know will come along and bid me go. Then I'll be leaving you behind, for love is just a state of mind. But till that day I'll be your man and love away your troubles if I can. But till that day I'll be your man and love away your troubles if I can. In the world I used to know.
Beautiful song from Jimmie Rodgers. He's my special guest. This is Jim Pewter. If you want a big nest egg in the future, you have to start saving now, because it takes a lot of time to build a solid future. So why not do it the easy way? Join the payroll savings plan and start buying United States saving bonds. Your money's regularly set aside from your paycheck and used to buy bonds. It starts your future nest egg growing now. Join the payroll savings plan and take stock in America. Buy bonds. Jimmie, you've had an incredible career. We've watched you from the days of Honeycomb, and in 1967 you had an accident where we were all praying for you. It was a difficult time. You had a very bad head injury, which took a long time for you to recuperate. How much time from 67 did it take before you actually started to perform again after that accident?
Well, about a year later, I tried to come back. I know I opened at the Coconut Grove. Eddie Fisher was responsible for my opening there. He was very kind to me when I was hurt, Eddie was, and he called the Coconut Grove and set it up for me to go back in there. And we went in with a big show with Eddie Samuels conducting a large orchestra, and it was very successful, big opening. People came, out of curiosity to see if I was going to be okay, etc. And I was singing quite well, but I wasn't very strong. I only weighed about 118 pounds. I lost some, I don't know, I went down from 165 or 70 to 118 pounds. I had 3 brain surgeries from that incident, so therefore that was quite demanding on me. I found, though, that I wasn't strong enough to perform, and I had quite a few problems readjusting, and I've always been a very healthy person. So I had to more or less take myself out of it, which I did. I pulled myself away from the business after trying to come back. And it hurt me in the business because a lot of people won't buy you after they find out that you're not able to do the job that you want to do. It took me a long time. It took me about 10 years, frankly.
Yeah. Now you're working again. You're doing a lot of shows. You go to Australia from time to time, right?
Oh yes, I just came back from Australia. We had a tour there. The World I Used to Know was a hit in Australia, and I've had several gold records there, along with the ones that we've had here. So actually, I've had more records in Australia that were hits than I have in this country. So I go there almost once every 2 or 3 years, and I did a tour through New Zealand recently also. That's a good area for me. I'm busier now than I've been in a long time because this music seems to, thanks to people like yourself, seems to continue on and on and on, and there for a while my career was really not doing as well as I would have liked it to, because I pulled myself out of the business to recuperate. But now, thank God, it's just going great.
That's great. And I want to feature a song that you wrote that was a hit in 1966. It was called It's Over. And tell the people listening who's playing guitar on this and your association with with a person we all know.
Well, a quick story. We were doing a country album at Dot Records, and the guitar player that I used in those days was Glenn Campbell. And that was before Glenn became popular as a singer. And we all knew he could sing a little bit, but he was a great player. He played, we did this as a demo record and with Glenn Campbell on guitar.
If time were not a moving thing and I couldn't make it stay, this hour of love we share would always be. There'd be no coming day to shine a morning light, make us realize our night is over. When you walk away from me, there is no place to put my hand except to shade my eyes against the sun that rises o'er the land. I watch you walk away, somehow I have to let you go. Now it's over. If you knew just how I really feel, you might return, and yet there are so many times that people have to love and then forget. Though there might have been a way, I have to force myself to say it's over. So I turn my back, turn my collar to the wind, move along in silence, trying not to think at all. I send my feet before me, walk the silent street before me. It's over. If time were not a moving thing and I could make it stay, this hour of love we share would always be. There'd be no coming day to shine a morning light, make us realize our night is over. It's over.
Jimmie Rodgers and Glenn Campbell on guitar, Hal Blaine on the drums, right?
Mm-hmm. Buddy Clark, I believe, on bass.
Yeah. What was the inspiration behind that tune? You wrote it. What did you have in mind when you were putting that together on your guitar?
I wrote the song because there was a girl in New York City who was going with a friend of mine, and they broke up, and they'd been going together a long time. And I was sitting with her one day talking, and she told me this whole story about how they'd been together and how close they were. And evidently the guy was married, and she thought he was going to get a divorce. It was a big problem. And we had known them for a long time, and she told me this story, and I really felt sorry for her, but I didn't know what to do about it. You know, I just sympathized with her. So a few days later, I was traveling, doing shows, and one night I was thinking about the story she told me, and I wrote the song around that story. When I recorded it with Glenn on guitar, it was a demo. I recorded the whole album in one night. We did like 8, 9 songs or 10 songs in one night. I was so tired, and we just sat around in a circle, and I taught Glenn the chords real quick, and we just dubbed it down. Everybody faked it. You can hear a few little bad notes in there, but the feeling was right, you know.
Yeah. After your association with Dot Records, you signed with Herb Alpert and Jerry Moss's label A&M. And I'm holding in front of me here the Child of Clay album, which is one of my all-time favorite albums. Besides the hit Child of Clay, you did Turn Around, Today, I Believed It All, Try to Remember. Great songs. My aunt, who passed away a few years ago, she was about 88 years old, and she used to always listen to this album. She was a big fan of yours. And the Child of Clay song was a departure for you, wasn't it, when you went over to A&M to record it? I mean, lyrically it was different.
Well, that was, of course, there were a lot of drug problems right around that time with a lot of our young people, and the song was a controversial record in that sense because it dealt with a young man who had more or less lost his way and didn't know which way to go. And the idea, once he was a child of clay, shaped and molded by the times.
Mm-hmm.
And I recorded it only because I felt that the lyric was really strong.
Yeah. Ernie Maresca is the co-writer of this song, and his name, goes back to Dion. He wrote some songs for Dion, Run Around Sue, and he had a hit record on his own, Shout Shout.
Right.
And when I looked at the label and saw his name on there, it was, compared to what he had written before, it was...
I shied away from the song a little bit, but Alan Stanton, the producer, insisted that I do the song, and I'm glad I did.
The year 1967. Here's Jimmie Rodgers.
Into the darkness he was sent by parents who were ignorant. Tied down to his mother's strings, unable to be anything. Puzzled by the things he hears, his questions fall on their deaf ears. And the father thinking work comes first, ain't got the time to quench a thirst. No, 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 no. Once he was a child, a beautiful child, a child of clay, shaped and molded into what he is today. But who is to blame for this child of clay? And going out into the street at night, the answers he may meet with sick and twisted minds he shares the searching questions his heart bears. And from the dregs the answers find their way into his supple mind. In time the planted seeds will grow into a twisted vine below. No, 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 no. Once he was a child, a beautiful child, a child of clay, shaped and molded into what he is today. But who is to blame for this child of clay? And now his aimless days begin to drift into sordid sin. And soon his dislike turns to hate as the stamp of life seals his fate. And so the night conceals his name, and the day sleeps off his shame. Deprived of love and rocked by fear of feeling that the end is near. No, 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 no. Oh, once he was a child, a beautiful child, a child of clay, shaped and molded into what he is today. Tell me who is to blame for this child of clay. Once he was a child, a beautiful child, a child of clay, shaped and
What a powerful lyric, Jimmy. Yeah, that sounds so good even today. Child of Clay, Jimmie Rodgers. We have about a minute left, and I just wanted to thank you for taking time out, coming on over here, sharing a lot of your great songs with us, and your songs will live on forever. We've been featuring them for many years. And tell me about some of your future plans right now.
Well, I'm putting together a show now for Nevada. I'm going to Lake Tahoe, and taking, as I mentioned, I think once before, I'm going to take all of these records back to the original sound. Putting together a show group with me that's I'm really happy with. I'm going to just kind of sit around on the stage with guitar players and people, and we're just going to sing all the old songs, and I'm really looking forward to that. Get away from the big orchestras and take it back to the basics. And there's some talk about my life story right now and a few other things that are keeping me very active.
Mm-hmm. Good. We'll have to get together again.
Let's do.
All right. We're going to move out with Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. And we had Child of Clay on Herb's label. And this is What Now, My Love. This is Jim Pewter, along with Jimmie Rodgers, and I'll see you tomorrow. Jimmy, thanks again.
Thank you.
Keep it straight ahead. Bye-bye.